Without objection, the House stands adjourned until noon on Tuesday next for morning hour debate at 2 p.m. for legislative business.
And just like that, MAGA Mike Johnson has shut down the House of Representatives again. Folks, today is Monday, March 23rd. MAGA Republicans are refusing to go to work today. What you just saw there at the beginning of this video was from the end of last week, where after Tulsi Gabbard and Donald Trump's intelligence officials testified before the House committees, and they basically tried to distance themselves from Donald Trump's disastrous and catastrophic war in Iran, MAGA Mike Johnson shut down the House of Representatives. I mean, look at the legislative calendar right here. You'll see today, Monday, March 23rd, it's blank. Why? Because they decided, you know what? We're just not going to go to work today. You'll see over here the last notice from the House adjourned. And the next time it's supposed to be open, although we'll see, is Tuesday, March 24th at 12 p.m. And then at 2 p.m., legislative business is going to begin. So they'll start tomorrow afternoon. Folks, it's not like we're in a catastrophic war in Iran and now Donald Trump has sent thousands and thousands of expeditionary units likely to invade the Karg Island in the Persian Gulf right by the Strait of Hormuz in the, next couple of days. Donald Trump has already indicated that this invasion is likely to lots of media outlets, and Israeli officials are like, well, the Marines are not going there just to be decorations. Okay. We have, as a result of Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans refusing to allow TSA to be funded and their demand that ICE continue to be able to wear masks, not follow due process, hang out around polling locations to terrorize and torture people like they have on the streets during the upcoming midterm elections, and to provide their identities. Those are what MAGA Republicans are saying non-negotiables. They've rejected every Democratic bill that just says, okay, well, you're not going to do that. We're not funding ICE anymore. ICE has already got hundreds and billions of dollars. We want to fund TSA, and Trump and MAGA Republicans are like, nope, you can't fund TSA alone. We want to play games with the TSA officers so Americans suffer. And then what? They'll blame Democrats. Americans aren't going to blame Democrats. Republicans control all branches of government, the executive branch, both chambers of Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives. And you also control the Supreme Court. It's a right-wing Supreme Court. And by the way, here's what Donald Trump was posting on Sunday to make things very clear. He does not want to do any deal at all to fund TSA unless you deal with like penises and vaginas and genital mutilation or whatever. I don't even know what this guy is talking about. Men and women sport. What this idiot is using all of these things to try to bully transgender people and somehow tying it to TSA. I don't even know what he's talking about. Donald Trump goes, I don't think we should make any deal with the crazy country-destroying radical left Democrats unless and until they vote with Republicans to pass the Save America Act, no transgender mutilization of our precious children. He then says that ICE is going to be in the airports. And so rather than even just removing the masks of ICE agents, saying they must follow due process and saying that they won't be at the polling locations, which is what the Democrats' request is. My own request, I want ICE and Border Patrol to be abolished and be gone. I don't think they serve a function other than to terrorize and torture people. There can be other entities that deal with legitimate immigration issues. I think we should have a strong border. ICE and Border Patrol ain't doing the work of that. They're terrorizing, torturing people in this country. But Donald Trump's talking about like genital mutilation. I don't know what the guy's talking about. And that's why TSA agents are not being paid what they at this point. And Donald Trump has the ability to pay them. He's just not paying them intentionally to make them them suffer. 30% of TSA agents in some airports are not showing up right now. Just take a look at some of these scenes right here. I'll play the B-roll for you of airports. This is an Atlanta airport right here where the wait time was 3 to 5 hours. Right. So you have that going on. You have the United States about to do a ground invasion of Iran's Kharg Islands, and MAGA Republicans are like, why would we show up to work today? Why would we do our job? A lot of MAGA Republicans are actually pissed, though, at what's going on, especially what Lindsey Graham has been saying. Lindsey Graham, I wouldn't even call Lindsey Graham a neocon. I mean, he makes neocons look like, I don't even know. I mean, Lindsey Graham is like, it looks like he truly gets like, I don't want to sound strange by saying this. I've said this before. It looks like he gets like turned on and sexually attracted to like war, whatever his kind of personal, private issues are that he's grappling with. It seems that like war and death turn him on, like make him aroused, right? I mean, the way he described sending our troops into the Kharg Islands, like we did it in Iwo Jima. I mean, there was almost 10,000 deaths in Iwo Jima. That's what you want right now when no one even knows why the hell we're in Iran in the first place. At least we knew why we were in Iwo Jima and why we were in World War II. I'm not sure why the hell Donald Trump basically started what's looking more and more like World War III right now. And Lindsey Graham's like, it's just like Iwo Jima. We got to do it. It's like Iwo Jima. Dude, weird guy, dangerous guy. We'll get there in a moment as well. So Congress shut down today. They ain't doing work. Just show up and do your damn jobs. We all have to deal with the consequences of your dangerous, malicious, reckless idiocracy. Just show up and maybe, I don't know, do your Article 1 function. Like perhaps make sure you actually require congressional authorization for freaking wars like this where American soldiers are dying and Americans are suffering. Well, anyway, before Congress adjourned until I guess tomorrow, but who knows if they even show up tomorrow, you had Lauren Boebert, MAGA Republican Congress member Davidson and others basically saying we're in a constitutional crisis because of what Trump is doing and that we don't want to give $200 billion more to fund this war. We need to help Americans. What's going on? Here, play this clip.
I will not vote for a war supplemental. No, I am a no. I've already told leadership I am a no on any war supplementals. I am so tired of spending money elsewhere. I am tired of the industrial war complex getting all of our hard-earned tax dollars. I have folks in Colorado who can't afford to live. We need America First policies right now, and that I'm not doing that.
First, I want to see them pass an audit.
So if they don't do that, could you support something like that?
Probably not. No.
And I think they need to come to Congress for all wars of choice. That's why I voted the way I did.
Mm-hmm. And if they don't?
Then you have a constitutional crisis.
By the way, before MAGA Mike adjourned Congress and shut it down, he was running. This is MAGA Mike's go-to move right here, where he just runs away from the press. And Manu Raju does a really good job asking these questions. He asked Speaker Johnson, MAGA Mike, if he backs a $200 billion supplemental to give to Donald Trump and to give I guess, have more munitions and to fight this reckless, dangerous, unlawful war in Iran. Here's what MAGA Mike had to say. Play this clip.
We'll find out. I mean, it's going to be a very specific request. I'm sure it's tied to specific things. It's not a random number. So we have to adequately fund defense. It's a dangerous time.
So you support that level?
I support what's needed to ensure that the American people remain safe. So we'll see what that number is. I haven't seen the details. We just heard the number this morning.
If there are ground troops, should they come to Congress first if there are ground troops?
Again, all the details matter. If we're completing the mission and it's a limited scope, then that's not a declaration of war.
Cameras down.
We got to vote, guys.
Let me show you what some MAGA Republicans are saying as well about Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump. MAGA Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna writes, I am deeply upset at the lack of respect for life Senator Lindsey Graham is displaying when talking about our troops. He is acting as if they are expendable cattle. This is unacceptable and dark. There were over 26,000 American casualties at Iwo Jima, and I think around 10,000 or so, 6,821 deaths, according to Nancy Mace. I'm not sure if it's more than that, but 26,000 total casualties. Nancy Mace writes, Lindsey Graham wants American troops on the ground in Iran, not his kids, yours, not for freedom, but for the price of oil. Unless he's suiting up for Karg Island himself, he should sit down. And she's responding to this Lindsey Graham quote that he was saying on all the morning shows, saying, we did Iwo Jima, we can do this, just like Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima cost 6,821 American lives. Nancy Mace continues on Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham has one foreign policy: send someone else's kids to war. He was wrong about Iraq. He was wrong about Afghanistan. Now he's wrong about Iran. Lindsey Graham needs to be removed from the Situation Room. I don't want to hear one word from a guy with no kids desperately sending our sons and daughters into war on the ground in Iran. Whether he has kids or not, to me, it's not a really irrelevant factor. It's the fact that he's a deranged, malicious maniac, but that's just reading you what Nancy Mace is saying. Former MAGA Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says, Lindsey Graham is a psychotic neocon who invokes Iwo Jima and is willing to send U.S. Marines in to be slaughtered in Iran instead of working for America to get Homeland Security funded so TSA, ICE, and BPA get paid. South Carolina, please vote him out. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene also says energy lockdowns are starting in the Middle East and parts of Asia, with Europe likely being affected. Inflation is going to skyrocket and global food supplies will be affected. This war should not have happened, and now many people will suffer, including Americans. Unnecessary chaos. And she's responding to an earlier report, which she wrote about. According to reports, Trump is preparing to send ground troops into Iran, breaking a key covenant of MAGA and a significant escalation in the Iran war. By the way, I talked about this in an earlier video report that I did as well, but the co-founder of American conservative magazine, Scott McConnell, is calling on J.D. Vance to invoke the 25th Amendment against Donald Trump, saying, invoke the 25th Amendment, don't resign. And he's basically saying that Donald Trump is demented and unstable. Meanwhile, the number 2 underneath Tulsi Gabbard in our intelligence community, Joe Kent, who resigned. You don't get much more MAGA extreme than MAGA Republican Joe Kent. He's warning that escalating further, especially plans involving Karg Island, Iran's key oil hub, would be catastrophic. He argues that sending U.S. troops would be a major mistake. It would essentially be giving Iran a bunch of hostages on an island that they could barrage with drones and missiles. So that's what's coming from the MAGA world right now. Now, I'll just share this with you as well. As Aaron Ruper is quoting CNN as talking about Harry Enton talking about Trump's historically terrible polling numbers. If I was a Republican for Congress, I would be shaking. Well, Harry Enton, not only are they shaking, but they are not showing up to work. Here, play this clip.
He's the leader of the pack, or last in the pack, when it comes to 21st century presidents and how Americans are viewing him on the economy, at least among independents. Look at this. 21st century presidents, economic net approval ratings at this point in term 2 among independents. Trump is 48 points underwater. Just 1 in 4 independents say that they approve of the job that he is doing when it comes to the economy. His net approval rating on the economy among independents, twice as bad as Barack Obama's was at this point, who was 25 points underwater, and double digits worse than George W. Bush was among independents, according to CBS News at this point when it comes to the economy. Look, these are numbers that if I were a Republican running for Congress, I would be shaking in place, because there's really nowhere to hide if you're a Republican running for Congress and President Trump is in this bad a shape among independents and Americans overall when it comes to the economy. Jessica?
And here's what Lindsey Graham said with all of those quotes that I showed you. Here's what Lindsey Graham has been saying on the morning shows. And you'll see what I mean by he's like gets aroused by this. It's gross. Here, play this clip.
Obliterated, and they're running out of money. So here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Karg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil. Control that island. Let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Carg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground? Let me just read you something from The Atlantic. Does an assessment on that. They say U.S. troops may well take Carg Island. We believe in their ability to do so, but only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, petrochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. The result could be a grinding war of attrition. They talk about how far away they would be from resupply.
I'm sort of tired of all this armchair quarterbacking. This has been an amazing military operation. God bless the fallen.
But it's a difference when we talk about troops on the ground.
I trust the Marines, not that guy. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this. The Marines, my money is always on the Marines. I don't know if you take the island or you blockade the island, but I know this. The day we control that island, this regime, this terrorist regime, has been weakened. It will die on a vine.
And finally, let me show you this as Ali Ahmadi explains. Here you have MAGA Republican Congressmember Scott Perry, again, not showing up to work today, but so confidently speaking on this without knowing the first thing about commodity transaction procedures or sanctions related general licenses. He's out there saying, how do we know that Iran is selling their oil and Russia's able to sell their oil to Asia? We don't know that. And it's like, we do know that. We literally know that. Trump, Bessent, the regime, Trump regime, removed the sanctions on Iran and Russia. Iran has since made $14 billion getting the sanctions removed on their oil. During the deal that Obama made with Iran, where Iran stopped enriching uranium, at max, Iran got like $1.4 billion with firm commitments, though, not to build nuclear weapons. That was being overseen by international agencies. It was working. Donald Trump tore up that agreement during his first term. And then now Donald Trump has put America in this disastrous war quagmire in Iran. But the criticism from MAGA was Obama, you gave $1.4 billion in reparations to Iran. You shouldn't have done that. Even if it was part of a comprehensive deal, you shouldn't have done it. That's like the biggest criticism of Obama's deal, which I believe was actually a strong deal. But now Donald Trump just gave Iran a gift during the war to help fund Iran killing Americans. Also, Russia was able to sell its oil to the tune of billions of dollars now because U.S. removed their sanctions and they're helping Iran against the U.S. And Iran made $14 billion, like multiples of what they criticized Obama for when Obama actually got a deal and did it and reached a resolution. Anyway, just so you can see what these MAGA Republicans are doing instead of working, this is how, how lacking in any credibility these people have. Illogical. Here, play this clip.
Secretary Scott Bessent said today, the Treasury Secretary, that the U.S. might suspend sanctions on Iranian oil that's already out to sea amid these high prices. I think some people might say, why would you ease sanctions on a country that the United States is currently at war with? How would you answer that?
Well, I would answer that. Do you think that Iran is, once that oil arrives wherever its destination is, do you think that Iran's getting the check? Do you think they're going to be able to get the money?
Yes.
The money's probably going to come to the United States of America. How are they getting the money? Or is it being wired by China and by India to what bank in Iran? And if there is a bank in Iran, in about 15 minutes, it can be gone.
But that is what's happening. I mean, that is who's buying their oil.
Well, you say, yeah, but that's what the ship's at sea, right? And you're saying the president's considering reducing sanctions for that oil because the payment's never going to get to Iran. That's pre-war. We're into this 20 days, Caitlin. We're into this 20 days. I mean, everything has changed. You're acting as though we're 20 days ago when Iran was sending this ghost fleet around in violation of the sanctions, getting paid. That's all different now. Everything has changed. The banking said they don't even have an internet in Iran right now.
Well,
you think
the
somebody's
leadership
going to
does.
the
Obviously,
ATM? We can't even find the so-called supreme leader. Is he alive? Does he have a leg? Is he in a coma? We don't know any of these things.
But I don't think that means that they're not getting any of the money from oil right now. I mean, they've turned off the internet for the people of Iran. That's certainly true.
Right.
But I think some people might not see the rationale. You're
speculating, and so am I. But I don't think you can assume. that the terms of sale are the same as they were 20 days ago now.
But do you have any issue with that? I guess in principle of easing those Iranian sanctions while the U.S. is at war with Iran, or do you see the logic?
I think the issue is that we are not going to punish the countries that receive the oil because they're likely going to get it for free or they're going to pay us for it. The point is Iran's not going to get the money, and even if Iran were to get the money, where are they going to spend it? Russia's not helping them, China's not helping them. I don't know if anything's much open on the streets right now in Iran. I think people are hunkered down in survival mode right now. And so I don't think the regime is going to, be headed out for vacation on their the new influx of money from the money that's sold to China or India.
Yeah, I mean, I think Russia is still helping them. They're helping them target U.S. forces and assets in the region, as you know. But we'll leave the conversation there.
That's a claim, right? That's a claim, but let's not speculate.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you all think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you. Hit subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.